I'm doing the artist way. I've done it one time before, and I finished like around the beginning of this year. It was really good for me. I think like I was a little skeptical for some reason, but I'd seen it around, and I got the audiobook and got the book, and just, you know, so I can write in it and put little notes and stuff in. I did it loosely, that beginning part, or that beginning like time around. And even though I kind of slacked a little bit, I made it all the way through. And I still did like as many tasks as I could. And I really felt like I discovered some things about myself just by writing every day, or trying to write every day, that I just like wouldn't have gotten to, or maybe I would have, but like way later on. And it kind of like really streamlines your brain. And, you know, there's like a quote in the first chapter just talking about how words are actions, and when you know, put your ideas down on the page, like they become real in a certain way. And, you know, that starts to compound over time, and, you know, you can see some real change. But anyways, I am making videos this time around. I had seen Doechie's like go around with her artist way journey and posting like YouTube videos of it, and that, I will say, inspired me. And having already done it, I felt like I needed a little, like, just, you know, a little push, like a little challenge for this time around. So I figured, you know, making some videos, which is something I like have always wanted to do, but have been a little too nervous to just like chat with the camera. So I have a whiskey sour to loosen me up a little bit. But let's dig in. I have some notes, you know, I'll just work through it. At the end of each week, there's a check-in, and the check-in asks you, this week, for week 1. Also, to be honest, it is Wednesday night of week 2, and I've been like slacking on making this video. So I'm glad I'm finally doing it, because it actually feels really good, as I said it would. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? So this week I did, or, you know, week 1, I did 6 out of 7 morning pages. On Saturday morning, we woke up very early and like kind of were a little hungover from going to a show that night before, or really not even hungover, just like stayed up really late, you know what I mean? And then we woke up really early because my folks were coming into town. They were stopping by, and we, you know, wanted to make it clean. So since they were coming early, we had to wake up early, and I did not get to my pages that day. That's okay, because also that day I sat down in the afternoon and just like had some melody ideas on this song I'm working on, and it really like came into fruition, the like experimenting and playing around. And I went in with an open mind, and like it was just really fun, and it panned out. So 6 out of 7, and, you know, starting with some energy, like really enjoying it. And then, did you do your artist date this week? Okay, so I didn't do a like solo artist date. I did go like, I don't know, I did like errand type things that I ended up like kind of running into a stranger and like talking to them for a while, and, you know, I don't know, I feel like that kind of like fueled me in an artist date way. But also I went to Father John Misty concert, which was so great because I hadn't seen him in a long time, and it was just like really inspiring. And it's the first concert I've been to after releasing my own music, which made me feel like, I don't know, like part of the club a little bit, you know? So that was nice. I feel like even though I was with people, when you're at a concert, you're just like you chat a little and then you like watch the show. So that I kind of felt like solo at times. Okay, I'll go through some of my tasks, but I'll also go through some like little mind nuggets that I wrote down. A quote that hit me from the book: "You don't need to know how electricity works to use it." I think that I do a lot of like, oh, I don't know enough, or like I didn't go to school for that, or like I don't know as much as that person, or like I try something and like, oh, it's not even that. It's like I just think that like the moments that I really commit to just like being a beginner and like really loving that feeling, like that's when real creativity like starts to jump out. And it's not like you need to know everything about something to like approach it and try it and like get something special out of it that's to you. So, and there's probably like 500 other meanings to that quote, but that's what I got out of it. And then leap and the net will appear. That one jumped out at me the first time I went through this book. And I think it's just like I've always thought like that, I've always just kind of operated in a way of things just, when there's a will, there's a way. And if you just kind of believe that there's another side to everything you come up against, there is, and it happens and you move on. And I think that like all of that coincides with like taking risks for yourself and for your inner child, and trying things you've never done before just to see what happens, because there's always going to be a net. You just like don't know how far you'll fall, kind of a thing. Faith gives you sight, which is like kind of another way to say that, but kind of in a retrospective way. Okay. We must allow the bolt of pain, kind of referring to like a lightning bolt. And like when you let go of a part of yourself to like grow, that's painful. Change is painful, and it feels very like, depending on what your story is, that pain can be like debilitating. It could be a little bit of pain. It could be like a long time of pain, but it's a bolt and it's strong for everybody at some point. So I think that like there's just another thing that jumped out at me, that we have to allow that to happen, to kind of get over what you need to get over, what you feel you need to inside. One of the common negative beliefs in here that she lists prior to week 1, or it's in week 1? Yes, okay. Core negative beliefs. There's 20 that she lists, but like the scenario is, I can't be a successful, prolific, creative artist because, and then there's a list of, fill-ins. Everyone will hate me. I will hurt my friends and family. I will abandon my friends and family. I will go crazy. I can't spell. I don't have good enough ideas. It will upset my mother or father. I will have to be alone, and on and on. I really did think people would think I'm crazy for pursuing music, like doing my thing with my art. I just thought people would think I was crazy. Like, I was afraid to hear what anybody would even say at all, even if it was positive. So I think the first time around, and I wrote that down because the first time around I read some of those core negative beliefs, and I was like, you have a little chuckle moment, like, oh my gosh, like I wouldn't feel that way. But now that I've gone through the whole journey of it and I'm like back again, at the beginning, I feel like I read more of those and just like had more like empathy for those, which I was really glad about. And I felt like it was a soft moment where I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm growing as a person and as an artist, and just, yeah, that felt good. And I believe in myself more, and I validate like why, like I'm connecting more dots kind of a thing. Like I'm validating why I felt that way now, instead of just going like, you shouldn't feel that way. Okay. On the plane coming from London back to Nashville, I watched the Pharrell movie. It was really good. Like, I really loved it. I thought it was so fun. It really tickled my like kid brain, and I like really enjoyed the story of it all. And but there was especially one moment that like popped out at me, and like it's when Pharrell gets emotional about, like he says, it's just crazy when you like, something along the lines of, it's just crazy when you realize that everyone wants you to win. And I like really fucked with that. Like I really fucked with that. And it really like kind of leveled me like in that moment too. Like I got a little teary eyed with the moment, and like it felt so good to like hear that. Cause like, I don't know, I kind of like back to the like, I really thought people would think I was crazy. I released like my first single at the beginning of this year, and like, you know, like I really love the song. Like I resonate with how it all came to be, and like I started producing music beginning of last year, and like out of all the things I made, I was like, you know what, I like really want to release something this year, just to like get it done, you know, like rip the band-aid off. And I had something, and I was excited about it. And like my in-laws, they like gave me a gift that like helped me, like a little piece of software that helped me like, you know, finish that song and like to master it by myself. And like, so it started with that, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so nice, you know, like that you would get that for me. And then too, like when I released the song, everybody was like lit about it. Like I didn't even realize that I'd have that much support. And just like, you know, like my homies, you know, they like really gassed me up. And they, like my family, like texting it to everybody, you know, like family, friends, people you wouldn't even think you'd be talking to about your art, calling you and stuff and being like, yo, it's so cool, I can't wait to hear more, like, you know, keep going, all that stuff. So I think that when I saw the like everyone wants you to win part in that movie, I really like had just had that moment where I was like, oh my gosh, like that was so like, what a beautiful thing, you know what I mean? Like people uplifting you to, and like seeing, it's like, I don't know, like in any capacity of like life where I'm like at work or like even school, where I accomplish something in that field, like I don't get a response like that, like, and I get a response, like I felt like I got a response like that from people who care about me, because they because people respond to creativity, and just baseline, like we all do. And then two, like I just want to believe that it's because like I'm exercising a gift in a way, you know what I mean? Like I've always loved music, and I've like always gravitated toward it, and I've like loved learning new instruments and stuff, and people, my friends know that about me. And so when you see someone exercising their like natural thing to them, and it's like starting to come out of them, you know, I can't help but be like, fuck yeah, let's go, you know, like you got this shit. You just want to see them like blast off with it. And everyone knows like that takes time, and I think people just like to see you doing something, and they like to see something special come out of people. So yeah, everyone wants you to win, and I think that's just going to be something that like egotistical way, just like repeat to myself when I'm feeling like just second guessing myself. Okay. Now, the morning pages, like, they're fucking hard, but like they really are, you know, like you do have to dedicate some time. And I'm like a slow writer, and like I'll get distracted and like look around and like just like look out the window and like not write the page because I'm like stuck in a thought and I like am thinking, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't want to write that down, you know what I mean? I'm just thinking. Once I like stop doing that and just write it down, that's the meditative part, is that you're really writing down everything you're thinking. Like the brain drain is so real, because when you get it all down, you know, in the allotted 3 pages, I use a big notebook too, so sometimes I do like skimp and do like 2, because some people, they use little notebooks and that's cool. And I just somehow happen to have this one, and generally like to shoot for 3 because it does feel good, excuse me. But I think that like I'm really seeing like a clear sense of self come through now that I've done the pages and made them like a habit. Okay, I have like S moments, like serendipitous moments, synchronicity, I think she calls it in the book. Basically moments where you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm making an effort to go within myself creatively and do some soul searching. And now I'm seeing moments like in my life sort of like line up with that. One morning last week, I wrote, I want to get to know more people who work in studios so I can, you know, just learn some things and get stronger in that capacity, in that field, behind the board. And I was like, I'll, you know, check out some internships, like, you know, a part-time job. I have a full-time job, but I'm like thinking about like, oh, maybe I could go work somewhere at nights, or just like check it out and just like meet more people. And literally that day I was in the office and like at Sirius and was just chatting up a couple of the engineers, asking if they knew anybody who ran a studio that needed a little bit of help. And one of the guys runs a studio here in Nashville and was like, yeah, I always need help. Like, come on, let me get your number. And then, you know, like I went back to work. Got their numbers and like moved on. And then another like connection happened in like the similar vein. So literally within that day, like that morning, I was like, I want to do this. And then like I just asked a question to somebody I hadn't yet, who I see often, and it was like boom. And I had like the lights go off and I was like, oh my gosh, I literally just wrote this down this morning. I'm like, I held space for it, you know, like, and it happened. And, you know, nothing's come of it yet, but I have their numbers. And if I keep bugging them, like maybe something will. So I thought that was a really like crazy serendipitous moment. My parents also came, and I hadn't like spent some time with them in a while. And I was just like hoping everything was gonna like go nicely. And like Saturday night, like, you know, we went out for some drinks and stuff and some food and like saw some music, and it all just like worked out so perfectly. And I was so glad, like I was so glad to see them. I was so glad to spend time with them, and I was glad to just, you know, like have them come see our place, because we moved recently, and like see the neighborhood and have a good time. And like it went good, and I'm really glad for that. And I felt like that was kind of a serendipitous moment as well, because it was just something I was a little worried about, and then it just was completely fine. You know, those moments where you like feel crazy for worrying about it. All right, so the tasks let's get it. Tasks. Okay, task 1. Some of these tasks, there's like 10 of them, I think, but some of them are like, do the morning pages, like do your affirmations and stuff like that, which I do them every day. So then, you know, it's not really a task, sort of. So I only have like a handful to go over. So task 1 is creative monsters. It's just list 3 creative monsters and like explain kind of why you would label them that. I would say this is like the toughest one for me because I can't really like, I need to keep working on it because I think for me it's a little tough to figure out who exactly has stifled any of my creativity. I feel like I can't like label it on one person, you know? And maybe a lot of other people feel like that until they like, you know, do more digging and then they find the root of it. Or you just like don't know and you don't remember. But I would say that my repeating like kind of thing is just like this is for me. My repeating thing is like, or person is my dad. And while he is the person that has gassed me up over my talents, kind of a thing, like, you know, seeing that I love to play piano and that I love music and like pushing me in that direction and like, you know, just someone that tells you you're special, that kind of a thing. While he has been a wonderful father in that way, I think that in other ways, like with his own life, there were just times that were like crucial between us where I felt like I wasn't being uplifted like creatively. And it's just like, these aren't times where I like presented something that was creative or like performative or my art. There's not a ton of those where he's like, or anybody really that is like, you know, that's lame, you know what I mean? It's not like that. It's just more of like, kind of like a personal thing. So I guess this is more like therapeutic. But I think that like when I was doing marching band and like doing the drum corps thing, I would show him stuff that we like did like on video and stuff like, yeah, like this is the performance that we did. And he'd be like, cool. I'd be like, cool, this is like, you know, I work my ass off to do this and I have fun doing it. And yeah, there would just be times where he just like wasn't as enthusiastic, or he'd like nitpick things that like he didn't know about, or, you know, he thought he knew about. And I think that like those moments compiled a little bit. Also, I don't know if it was like a work thing or I don't know, like he just didn't come to like my performances a lot as well. So we always like, I think in high school we had like kind of a rub there because he didn't really like get that I liked marching band and stuff like that. Or I don't know. I think times were just like tough. This is me excusing. But anyways, really that was the kind of the stifling thing for me, is that I felt like someone who I looked up to and gassed me up like creatively wasn't anymore. And that was like a little confusing for me. And I went off and like did this drum corps thing and like came back to high school to like high school band. Like I did it during high school summer and then came back, and my like band director didn't like that like kids would do that if they wanted to do drum corps and then like come back to high school. This all sounds so silly, but it's okay. I just like doing band stuff, you know, when I was in high school and stuff. So I like really loved it, and it was fun for me. And so I like did drum corps, and then like, you know, where you like, kind of like travel sports and do it at a little bit higher of a level, and you come back to high school. My band director, like, you know, didn't like kids doing that and coming back and thinking they were like hot shit, and then trying to do like high school marching band, like ruining it for the other kids because they wanted it to be like, you know, too good. And I felt like he just like compared me to all of those, my band director like just compared me to all those people before me, which made me feel like anything I did, I was just like a rebel, or I don't know, it just made me feel like strange. So it made me feel that like I was trying to go get better at something, and then like I was just being perceived as like trying hard, you know what I mean? Like a try hard dude that like is gonna run himself into the ground trying to be good and like not be cool with people. But I like, you know, when I was cool with people, like just felt like compared to, not seen for who I am. So the third one, dude, I don't know. I don't have a lot of like, I'll have to keep working on that one. But those were two where I could really be like, yeah, like those didn't feel good, but I'll think more on it. Okay, this other task is creative champions, you know, people who really, you know, you lean on in your mind and in your soul. My brother, consistent belief and encouragement. I don't know why I'm reading this. My brother's been really consistently encouraging of my whole journey with music, and he is a musician himself, and we just, you know, we have a good connection with that. I feel really good about like sharing things with him. And my sister, excuse me, my sister is so creatively encouraging in ways that I just literally can't even like explain right now. She's basically like just wonderful, really. I mean, I really can just ask her anything, talk about anything with her, and I can really just like, you know, lay my heart out there, and she listens, and she always uplifts me. And like, you couldn't ask for anything better. My wife's like just natural talents and abilities to like be creative in her own ways are so inspiring. I really can't even like do justice for like how her brain works, and I just love her so much. And seeing her like achieve fills me with like so much pride in her, then also like gasses me up at the same time to like, you know, just be there with her, you know, at that level. I really like look up to her, and she always listens, and she likes to, you know, like ask me questions about my art, and if I show her something or I'm excited about something, like she, you know, holds space for me, and I like, she is a creative champion for sure. She's the ultimate. Okay, task 8, imaginary lives. So I just wrote down a ton. You're supposed to only write like 5 or something, but I'll list all of them. A chef, a classic folk songwriter like Simon and Garfunkel or Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan, an actor, a record label owner, an engineer for studios, like, you know, one of those like really like iconic ones, a basketball player, a baseball player, a writer, a painter, a designer for interior design or like clothes or anything, a director, film director, interior designer, there we go, architect. Cool. Yeah. and then you're supposed to like pick one, which I don't know if I did or not. I learned this Joni Mitchell song called Black Crow. I had only ever really heard of like the covers of that song until like a while ago, and then I listened to the original and I just like ran it into the ground, and then I was like, I should just learn it, you know. And that was kind of my like dipping into the classic folk songwriter imaginary life by learning that song. So, and which was a lot of fun. And then task 9 were blurts. So here's some of my common blurts, which are basically like your negative things that you say as you're writing your affirmations, like your censor is what they call it. You know, getting in the way, and like your self-doubt, basically. Some of my popular blurts are, you're too lazy. My affirmation to like convert that blurt is, artists need rest, and so do their artist childs. Your artist children. Okay. If you have kids, you'll be less creative. My conversion is, if I have kids, I'll be more creative. You're too broke to be an artist. My conversion is, no amount of money compares to the power of my inner child. You're too scared to be an artist, a real artist. My conversion is, I'm a shameless creative, and I deserve to try my best at what I love. So, yeah, there's the tasks. So yeah, my check-in was, I wrote 6 out of 7 days, morning pages. Oh yeah, Keely and I also, for another artist day ad, Keely and I also went to this place called Shop of Things, where you just like, there's like little like cute stuff there. So I got these like little bunny fridge magnets, and she got like a little like cute animal thing to like clip onto her iPhone charger. And like we just went like out one night and just like got cute stuff, like, and just like perused this cute store, which was so fun. And like our goal for it was just to like leave with something cute. So I felt like that was like very artist date worthy. Also, when my parents came, we went and got some Filipino food, and I hadn't had it in a long time. And my mom is from the Philippines, so she was stoked to go to a Filipino restaurant visiting here, and it was so killing. Like, it was so good, and it just reminded me that like I need to cook more Filipino food. So I put out feelers at the studio, and that like worked. And then, oh yeah, I got my guitar, my Strat modded for free off of trading this other thing that I had, and like that was cool. We did like a Memphis rewire on it, and I'm excited about that. So that was just like another serendipitous or synchronicity moment. And then, yep, and my folks came, and we had a great time. So yeah, that's week 1. Thank you for hanging out with my longest fucking video.